If you are over the age of 35, stop everything you're doing right now. After a lifetime of eating fatty foods, you may run the risks of a stroke or heart attack due to plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. To learn how you can reduce your risks, visit youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856 today. This may be a life-changing call for you or someone you love. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you.
Benny Lasbury was a young, poor African-American kid who inadvertently got caught up in the mob when he came to the aid of a mafia captain under the attack by a group of assassins. Benny saved the man's life, and in return, he becomes the head of the mafia's drug operation. Buy the House of Lasbury in the description box right now.
Jewish people or nobody else, right? So I think that with the sports journalists, it's the same way. If you remember years ago, Stephen A. got into this thing where a white feminist broke company policy and went on Twitter and dogged him out. You're not supposed to do that, ESPN. You're supposed to get fired for that. They didn't fire her. In fact, they actually made Stephen A. apologize to her on the air. So he buckled to that, even though she broke the rule. The white woman broke the rule. She should have been fired. But again, when you're under his umbrella, you got to follow his rules, and that's just what it's going to be.
Right, and I think a lot of those people in those big positions know that, and they wouldn't dare ever cross that line. I want to talk about the hip hop culture, man. In your opinion, do you think it's became a deaf culture? I did a video, I forget what video I did, but I did a video on it, and I talked about like all the shootings that's happening at video shoots, and somebody put a comment like, "Yeah, it is because what these guys are saying, like the words are powerful. You know, the things that they're saying in their rap now, a lot of the stuff is now coming, into fruition. So is hip hop a deaf culture? And do you think that a lot of these rappers are speaking, their own death and demise into fruition?"
Yeah, it's funny. This has been around for a while. This has been around like since NWA kind of, really pushed it out there on a high level. And I remember when I was younger, I understood that just like any other black guy, I would have loved to be like a famous rapper, whatever. And then I saw Tupac get killed and Biggie and all that chaos. And as I got older, I was like, man, that would be the worst profession in the world, because you think you're living the dream, but really you just got dropped into a nightmare. A lot of the music, unfortunately, they incentivize it to put the black man in a box where you're not a human being anymore. You're supposed to sort of fit, into these certain categories about what you talk about, the drug use, drug addiction, selling drugs, killing black people, disrespecting women, all kinds of just crazy stuff, throwing all your money away. And literally it's like a blueprint of just exactly how to ruin your life as a black man, and when you start seeing these rappers that get a little bit older, that are in their 40s and 50s, that are dying young, a lot of that is because the culture is a very, very unhealthy, very toxic culture. And where it, and it's not all of it though, right? We know hip hop is very diverse, but we know what gets marketed. We know what gets pushed. You got to be disturbed about the idea of having a black man go in front of 50,000 white people and call himself a nigger and brag about killing black people and have the white people cheering and thinking that that's the coolest thing in the world. I don't understand why no one else thinks that's weird. If white people did that, if they had a Klan rally, and they were like, we're going to kill some niggas today, we'd be very upset about that. So I don't understand why we just let our guard down because the person sharing the message happens to look like us, right? When they're really just a corporate puppet. They're a puppet of the people that hate us, right? So I think overall, that culture is, I feel sorry for rappers, man. You go places, you go to clubs, you got to carry all kinds of weapons, have security. You got two types of pressure. You got the feds that are watching you because that's like easy. It's like easy arrest. It's high profile. Yeah. You're rapping about the people you killed, and they know like exactly what you're going to be doing and whenever. And so like a guy like a Bobby Shmurda goes to jail. I think because he got pulled into some behavior that he probably wouldn't have done if he wasn't trying to like maintain the image, so it's really sad, man. I mean, every 2 weeks a rapper dies, like literally like every 2 or 3 weeks somebody gets killed. And we're not sort of standing up and saying, okay, this is a problem. Like this is racism too. Like this is Black Lives Matter too. Like we're going to address this. And I don't see anybody really doing it. And I think we need to do that as a community.
Yeah, and it's funny. I always say, I'll let you go real quick.
Go right, yeah.
You can say nigga, but I guarantee you, if these rappers started saying cracker, cracker, cracker in their song, it'd be outrage. Like flip everything around and start saying cracker, cracker, cracker this, cracker kill, cracker that. It'd be outrage. I always think that thought, but that's interesting, man.
Yeah, the Jewish community don't play that. You know, if you use a derogatory term about the Jews, they will take your ass down. They will Nick Cannon your ass in 2 seconds flat. You know, so we gotta kind of pay attention. Like they protect their own, but they'll pay you to destroy your own. That's white supremacy, the 101 right in front of you.
Indeed. Let us transition, into media. And one thing that my cousin and I forgot, we were like, damn, we never asked him about Vlad and Farrakhan. Now, I guess the reason why I know I didn't ask is I didn't know if you even dealt with Vlad at all. And then I went and did some research, and you did his interviews a few times back in the day. Love to hear your thoughts on that. As far as the respect factor is concerned with Dr. Louis Farrakhan, some people love him, some people don't, but the respect factor is there, absolutely there. And he was disrespected by Vlad, and a lot of people in our community were outraged about it. Some people even left his platform because of it. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I rock with Farrakhan all the way to the end, period, and I think you can love Farrakhan and love Malcolm X at the same time, even with full knowledge of the whole controversy about how the Nation of Islam and Malcolm, kind of fell out back in the day. I just choose to love them both, period. It's not going to change. With Vlad, I was not friends with Vlad. I was on the show a couple times. He was nice enough when we talked, but he was way out of line for what he said about Farrakhan. Not only was he out of line for being disrespectful, but he was out of line because he lied. I mean, he just flat out lied about, the whole throwing a rock or whatever. And I personally think that I was really proud of the way, I saw Lord Jamar, really stand up. He seems like a stand-up guy. I've talked to him a couple of times and been on his show. I really like him, and I was really proud. The brothers were like, no, we're not going to tolerate this. And, Vlad's going to keep going. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. But the other thing, too, about Vlad's show is that there's a lot of weird, I guess people are seeking attention. Like they're clout chasing. They want somebody to talk to them. So they get on there and they just start snitching and telling all these stories and letting, these people are profiting off of trauma that has occurred in our community. And then I think wasn't there one guy that actually got a charge because of stuff he was talking about on Vlad's show? Is that right?
They try to say that it wasn't, but we were actually at that trial. We actually sat in that trial a few days, Oates more than I, and internet and interviews and things like that were brought up in that case. Was his name in particular? No, but interviews and things like that were definitely brought up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I never had a life where I was killing anybody. My father did that, but he told me enough to not participate in that type of stuff. But I'm just gonna tell everybody listening, if you ever decide to kill somebody, you better take that shit to the grave.
Word.
Don't tell anybody. Don't, and that's what's interesting, right? Why did you tell people? Well, you told people because you're trying to get this credibility, this respect thing, right? Why do we respect that? Why do we only want to respect people that have done things that are harmful to themselves and to others? Why don't we respect, the guy that wants to go study 10 hours a day, or the guy that wants to go and build a multi-billion-dollar company? Give him that same respect. Don't just respect your killers, your rappers, and your athletes. Those guys are fine, right? But we have to realize we're diverse. A black man should not have to fit into the thug box for him to be seen as a worthy human being. But media perpetuates that. And I personally see myself as a person who's kind of fighting and pushing back against that.
Yeah. If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Blackout. Blackout is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-78